bore down, we're gonna an evil and go for the crown. Yeah, pour that Guinness and spark the J. Time for DJing. I was the rake trays. Yo, just that time again. Yo, it's that time again, better flip the switch. Everybody scratching at the extra trade itch. Pour the Guinness, grind the tree. Always on live for all to see. Split the G and light the J. Come with rate, let them show you the way. DJ hours or buy the book. Nowhere to hide, come take a look. Rake trades, the bake trades, it all gets done while the man chills out under the Puerto Rican sun. Chat cooling out for one last trade. When the DJ now a sign flashes, it's on the way. Load up the Evo, contracts times 10. Look for that failure, trigger and do it again. Break out of the range and keep on with the trend. We're here doing DJ hours with all of our friends. Every day if we're green or red. Sometimes you just got a hood rap DJ and shit with your friends. Pour that Guinness or spark the J. We're gonna DJ with the sign on either way. Every day we got bored down. We're gonna an evil and go for the crown. Yeah, pour that Guinness and spark the J. Time for DJing. I was the rake trays. Yo, just that time again. Yo, it's that time again, better flip the switch. Everybody scratching at the extra trade itch. Pour the Guinness, grind the tree. Always on live for all to see. Split the G and light the J. Come with rate, let them show you the way. DJ hours or buy the book. Nowhere to hide, come take a look. Rake trades, the bake trades, it all gets done while the man chills out under the Puerto Rican sun. Chat cooling out for one last trade. When the DJ now a sign flashes, it's on the way. Load up the Evo, contracts times 10. Look for that failure, trigger and do it again. Break out of the range and keep on with the trend. We're here doing DJ hours with all of our friends. Every day if we're green or red. Sometimes you just got a hood rap DJ and shit with your friends. Pour that Guinness or spark the J. We're gonna DJ with the sign on either way. Every day we got bored down. We're gonna an evil and go for the crown. Yeah, pour that Guinness and spark the J. Time for DJing. I was the rake trays.
What up, everybody? I am here. I am here. How we doing? Victoria, Paul, TML, Matterman, Christoph, Rafi, Vish. What up? The diehards are here. Ready to see some arrows on the screen. We'll see if my guy Leto shows up and says anything about arrows today. Interesting day. Interesting day. I think we may have finally found our floor. I don't know what is to come. I haven't even looked at the intraday positions yet, guys, so give me 2 seconds and we'll get that pulled up here if I can. I am unprepared. I just got off of an actual real job call, so this is kind of like me scrambling, so my apologies for that. But yeah, I think it looks like we're trying to get our little pop back higher after finding our balance here. I'm just like fucking flailing, guys. This is hilarious. Just give me a minute. I need to get myself settled. I'm not 100% sure this is going to be the bottom. I think we've probably got another 15 points to go before I would make a declaration like that on the day, but it seems like we are generally in that area. So, what's up, Be Creative? Usama, what's up, Cole? Something new on the chart there. Yeah, that's something I've been toying with. I'm not 100% sold on this actually working. It's kind of a different way of measuring realized volatility versus intraday. But it is interesting. I just don't love it. I don't know that it's entirely accurate. Case in point right now, like the fact that realized vol is actually only just starting to maybe tick up as we move down. There's a few things in there. I'll get into that once I have that dialed in more. I'm kind of forward testing it right now. What's up, JDV? Lomeli? I am not Lomeli, Rebel. My name is Mitch. Sorry if you're disappointed. He will be on after me. We share this time slot. I am the first hour, and then he gets to clean up into the closing session. But unfortunately, you're stuck with me, man. But thank you for being here either way. What's up, Ray? Let's see here. Let me get the current intraday positions as of a minute ago. I can't shake the feeling that we didn't just kind of find a temporary bottom though. I feel like this is going to be it. There's a reason for that. We'll look at it. We're kind of in the heat of the moment here. So current straddle is expanding because of this volatility. So see if I'm kind of in the ballpark. It's actually closer to like 18. God damn, my shit is slow. Is this slow for you guys? I can never tell. Like, I feel like this shit is just so laggy lately. So my apologies if it is. Yeah, today, really interesting. I think what we're about to see here, I'm going to ditch, maybe that's the indicators. I might have like too many rows on my chart. This is like atrocious for me. I feel like I'm moving in slow motion here. It's driving me absolutely fucking bonkers. I'm gonna blame it on Bookmap. I never used to stream with Bookmap open, and now I do for all these order flow junkies out there, and I'm kind of wondering if it's not causing some performance hits. But let me see here. See if I can get myself situated. I am in a trade currently. I'll see if I can share that off screen. Your thoughts on Trader's Launch? Ripster, I have no idea what that is. Is that like a prop firm or something? I don't tend to go outside the bigger prop firms so far that we're affiliated with. Case in point, Alpha. You never know what someone's going to do and how they might fuck around and find out. But let's see if we can kind of get me to not be such a mess right now. I feel like I am just rambling. Yeah, I can't tell anything about them, Ripster, because I literally don't know anything about them. So I'm not going to lie to you and say that I do when I don't. But I think as you guys can see, we're clearly kind of in this downtrend. I know that you guys love my arrows. So why does this move seem to be playing out in the post-London time? And why do I kind of think we may be starting to slow down and set a bottom a little bit? I'm sure you guys can kind of see the rationale here. And then you look on Bookmap and you see a bunch of resting orders from kind of 70 on down. So it looks like we are likely to start absorbing some of this selling. But, you know, that has to actually happen. We're seeing vol kind of pick up and spike, which is kind of from the morning plan, like what you would have to see to get down here. kind of talked about 75.80, kind of actually 75.60 was my sign. This was my strike from the pre-market positioning of like kind of the do or die spot for lower. Obviously you can see this big spread is on here. Straddle's currently sitting about 20 points. As that decays, this kind of will be even stronger of a buffer. Right now it's just big enough to potentially, you know, price us in a little bit of an extension through it if we get some really strong selling. But my expectation is we'll probably grind and chop around here and then maybe get a lift. The problem now is compared to the pre-market, we don't really have a strong balance of dealer longs to kind of magnetize us back higher if you were just looking at the intraday positioning, right? Obviously we can fly back up through this range if any of this volatility comes off. So if we don't really kind of start to grind and chop and just hang out down here to just get stuck lower into the afternoon, any buying and any vol coming off, we can kind of ramp right back through here. But I think this 76.05 to 76.15 area on ES is kind of what's going to be your temporary ceiling, just based on what we talk about with like shape of decay, right? So something to keep an eye on. You know, if I was going to say there's a spot to long from as far as like risk to reward, this is not a bad shout because of this structure. I just don't know that I have a clear target for you beyond kind of like what the straddle range is from here, kind of pricing you in maybe back up in this area where you can kind of get some momentum on some volatility coming off. But I'll tell you, I don't know if we got a headline. I don't know, you know, like what maybe helped induce this selling. If Warsh said something during his testimony that kind of elicited a little bit more of a response, I am blissfully ignorant to that. Ignorant to that. Oh God. Yeah, guys, I don't know what that's all about. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me see here. I mean, obviously, if you guys got some questions, then let me know. We'll see if we can get in here. Trying to show you guys my copy trade. This shit is just driving me crazy. I'm just gonna not mess with that. I'll come back more prepared. But basically, I'm copy trading on some micros. I'm down to runners on MES. We are short from about 57.97, it looks like. So we took a short around right here with the idea of kind of coming down to this area. So I have a stop kind of right over the 75.85 area here. So if we get stopped out, that's where we're going to stop because I don't want to get caught in a squeeze back the other way. But that is the current situation. Did I trade this morning? Yes, I traded long a couple times. And we can go over the pre-market here in a minute. And to the question about Babushka, I feel like you've been here before. I feel like you know. But the indicator is just something I coded with Claude. So I didn't code it. Claude coded my idea for me. And it's essentially just replicating the VS3D platform on my trading view chart. So it's a look at the positions, the net positions, market makers are long or short, and just puts them onto trading view. But they don't update. There's nothing dynamic about it. It requires manual input of data by me. So if you want that view, you go pay for VS3D's platform, and then you can get it. And if you want to code your own, you can, and get the same thing for TradingView. I think most people that leverage VS3D don't do that. They just go look at VS3D and have the platform up because it's just dynamic and it's there all day. But I just like having it here so I can talk to it so you guys can understand how I trade. And then I also don't want to share his platform for free because I pay for it and it isn't free. So Whether it's something I do or theirs, you gotta pay for data, one way or the other, right? What about NQ levels? What about them? Not to be a jerk, but the edge here is in the SPX positions and the ES hedging. The correlation with NQ is just the shared index weighting between NDX and SPX. So most of the time where we're holding a key support area on ES, you would generally expect the reaction in NQ to be commensurate to that. So is it a surprise that as we come into an insanely strongly hedged area on ES that NQ can get a bounce, right? No surprise to me. But that is the edge, but there is no direct level with NQ from this. It is more about, like, just broadly speaking, the correlation between the indexes and ES kind of being, or SPX being, like the stronger, bigger index where they have a shared weighting. You can certainly trade NQ from this structurally, but just with a little less precision, I would say. So your mileage might vary. Yeah, I saw the semi-rotation and memory rotation this morning back into software in the Mag 7. But yeah, I think that we were actually holding and things were looking good. I think ES was very close to breaking out. I know we got a couple little headlines that wobbled that, but I think that rejection, if you guys were in the Discord, you saw that I was long a couple times from that kind of key support area this morning, but I had decided not to pursue another long just because I didn't believe in it at that point. I feel like when the straddle comes down and you start thinking about time and like why I draw these arrows about the shape, right? And you see the shape and you say, okay, if you guys are new here, the concept for me is the positions we're looking at right now are specifically going to be representing kind of the post-London close framework for the rest of the day. So we kind of had our morning structure, which to me is the strongest structure, and what I'm looking for is the difference between what that structure was this morning versus what it is now. Where there is some overlap between this morning and right now is that kind of this 75-80 area was a key strike from the morning, which obviously it's diminished. But what it represented was kind of this idea. The strongest part of the day from a positioning standpoint overall, this is mostly a positive kind of structure, and that if you're not down in here and stuck under this kind of 75-50 area, more likely than not, you are going to be holding where we are and maybe slightly drift back towards this kind of 7600 area, 90 area, right? This little range here from the morning is a pretty strong spot, and I think those positions will be hedged into the afternoon. So between where we are right now and market close somewhere, we'll just draw it over here for now, over yonder, right? You're running a race and you've only got between these, like where we are right now in this line to get there. If you're not here, your finish line starts looking more like where the straddle is currently pricing it, right? What's actively being hedged against us by market makers, but we know that we're basically at the floor. So if you guys just joined the stream, I pretty much said, I don't know that we go materially lower. If we do, it should start like grinding and chopping. Maybe you get a little sideways action. And then the risk for somebody thinking they can go lower is that any bidding at all, any of these shorts that close out and cover, we're probably going to see it right now, right? Any market orders can fly right back through this whole range. So that is kind of what I'm looking at for the risk for me holding my short runners right now, is that any bidding at all can absolutely launch right back through this whole range in a hurry. We could get like a crazy V-shaped recovery, right? So that is why I look at like the time component, and why I didn't take a long from up here around 7,600, but took a short instead, was on the idea of time is starting to work against us. And if we're not over this strike, we're less likely to go finish up here at the top of the range from the day, right? And we're more likely to drift down to the strongest balance on the day and potentially close there. So if you don't get the bids, right? If you don't get the sustained buying to make the momentum take you the other direction, It's kind of like the idea of a trampoline. So if we fell from high, let's see if I can, sorry. Let me find a brush. There you go. So if we bounce from up here, we fell from a long way. Normally what happens is you get a bounce with a lot of momentum. You get a pretty high, you know, like first bounce off the trampoline. And then if you don't keep your momentum going, you kind of do this and then you just fizzle out. Next thing you know, you're just sitting on the trampoline. Okay. That's essentially what's happening right now. The difference is sometimes when you get this initial bounce and you get that momentum, what we know about this whole range of positions is market makers, they're not selling against you. They're going to go with you. Ah, do you see? If you get momentum, they are assisting the move. They start going with the momentum. That is what is called a gamma squeeze. Now, the issue is if that momentum subsides at all for even a second, it comes right back down. Okay, so what we need to see here is do the bids step back in? But they rejected off our first kind of key resistance area. We sold down. They need to maintain this momentum, else we go right back down to the trampoline. Yes? I love the fact that we just saw that happen. So if you want to know why these red positions are the things that kind of create trend days and ranges, you are seeing it right there. But the problem is, what happens if it doesn't sustain? You come right back down through it, right? It giveth and it taketh away. So we are overall in a very much positive gamma regime. But the benefit of knowing the more granular positioning information is that you know where the pockets are that are weaker, that are more negative or neutral, which is where price tends to really move quickly or more rapidly, or you get trends because it has more room to go without anything actively fighting it and slowing it down, which is what positive gamma does by default, right? So if you know where those positions are, you can make some informed decisions, okay, based on probabilities. It is less probable that we finish at the high of the range up here where we know market makers are starting to actively sell against us, unless we are over kind of a key area here, right? And then we also know we are less likely to go through the floor here unless it's a slower, grindy chop, or you get really sustained, super strong selling to push through and force a reaction the other way. But the risk range here was always what I just mentioned about why at the start of the stream I think we were finding a bottom. It's harder to go lower from here. It's easier for some volatility to come off and to catch some momentum and rapidly go the other way. But if you don't hold up there, then it's still working against you and pointing you back down to a place, right? And then the floor just starts getting firmed up. So that is kind of my base case here for the rest of the afternoon is we either get the recovery and we somehow get up and out of here. We make like a 2 times the straddle move, right? It's about a 20-point straddle right now. So this blue line is telling you essentially where that is. It's pricing in about 20 points. So up we go. We can certainly get up and out of here in a hurry, right? Because we get the momentum, we ride the wave. But the risk is if you're not over a certain strike and that momentum falls away, it kind of points you back down to our key balance, right? So there we go. Do you think bookmap is still helpful? Aren't there a lot of... Yeah, bookmap, it's interesting, but it's just kind of giving you a little bit of an idea of like the what behind the candle you're looking at, like where there were more buys versus sells, where the resting liquidity is, like where the limit orders are sitting, which is what these colors are, versus what like the market volume, like the flow, like the bids, like market orders are kind of more represented here, the volume. And then are these limit orders getting filled or not? Where's the liquidity sitting? Most of what we see from the market maker side is going to have to be behind like the additional data that you pay for on Bookmap, which is called like the MBO, which is going to give you things like icebergs and some of these other types of orders that this version of Bookmap does not give you. I just don't care to pay for it because I personally don't find a big edge in this unless I was like scalping, but that's just not my style. I like catching more points. So if the green is the straddle, what are the purple lines? The purple lines were the expected move from the open on the day. So you can see the opening straddle off the open print was basically priced in for like a 30-point range. So we never got to the top of it, but we did exceed the bottom of it, right? We got that little bit of extended volatility. We broke through kind of our floor strike around like 95 on ES. But again, we kind of hit the totality of where most of the support was going to be. And that's kind of where we sit right now. So the only way to kind of get up and out of here is if you go look at like, well, from the pre-market, what was kind of a strong level coming in on the day. Maybe this will load. Jesus, guys. I'm telling you, there's something about this computer that should not be running this slow. Anyway, that 95 was kind of our key strike from the morning. So I do think there might be some validity to pinning that area, even though the intraday positioning that we're looking at doesn't show that right now. That's also because intraday people are opening and closing things, right? So the platform that I use, that data updates every 10 minutes. But if you really hone in on like that pre-market positioning, it tends to win out a lot. Like even yesterday, if you guys look at my end of day review and you only looked at the pre-market positioning yesterday, the story of the price action through the day was largely adherent to the pre-market profile. Intraday gives you some little granularity bits there, but for the most part, I feel like the pre-market positions and the structure is respected very much. So I kind of have a fun thing brewing for people in the Discord. I have like an end of day performance report based off of the pre-market plan that I share and kind of the percentages of like, here's what the probabilities we're saying for a box day between the ends of the expected move versus a trend day versus a breakout and fade versus a dip and recovery. So that's something fun that I'm going to start sharing at the end of the day for people in the Discord. So if you want to see that, you can join us there. But yeah, I think right now it's kind of playing out the way that we thought about, like kind of setting a floor here. Our strongest support was under the 70 area, and now we're getting a little bit of a recovery. Obviously, we had that kind of initial squeeze and rejection back down. So the story of the afternoon is going to be how much of this do we recover? Do we actually end up kind of maybe testing the 7605 to come back and pin around 95, or do we come all the way back down to kind of 80? That's what I would be watching for in the afternoon here. Let's see here. What inputs do I have to adjust myself with this indicator? Just the net positioning data. That net positioning data is what you have to be able to put in there. So you get that from the VS3D platform. Let's see here. Say hello to my gran. She's lying in her pit listening to you after working on her car all afternoon. She loves your voice after slimy cock. Slimy, dirty man. You and your gran. I don't know what you guys are into over there, but it's weird. The fact you said gran kind of makes me think you're from the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do I use Spot Gamma? No, VS3D is my platform. How do you count in the randomness? Like when I use Bookmap and Spot Gamma, I end up trying to make the move make sense even if it doesn't. I ended up trying to make a certain move make sense even if it doesn't. I guess that's where Bookmap to me is just a little bit of mess. It's like very noisy. It just kind of confirms what you already know. And I've seen some people recently ask me about like, oh, what about, there's some other charting platform they said in here yesterday, like ATAS or deep charts or something, which I think order flow traders use because it's like the indicators there are very similar to Bookmap. Like it's showing you bubbles of here's big buy volume, here's big sell volume, here's where sellers are trapped, here's where buyers can squeeze them, and blah, blah, blah. And like, if you just looked at your candlestick chart as a representation of the same thing, and you just assumed that there's more sellers on that red bar, so if we clear that red bar, we squeeze them the other way, you're inferring essentially the same thing. There's no like secret edge to a footprint chart beyond seeing in that candle specifically where in the candle was there more buying than selling. And Bookmap is doing very much the same thing. It's showing you like where are there resting orders waiting to be filled, and what is the market order doing, right? How much buying or selling volume was there in a certain place? That's all these bubbles are showing you, right? So here, we got our big squeeze move. This kind of late long ended up getting their stop ran more than likely because strong selling took them back and under it. So now this buyer is trapped up here. That's why you have that big long wick, right? Like over here. So 75.93. At the top, you got a bunch of selling. You had a bunch of resting orders up here that got filled, right? And then no one was buying again until down here. And now their stops were probably run. So now we're consolidating in this area. But there's resting orders here and here and here, which we already can kind of see. Not that they're correlated directly. What's on Bookmap doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what the market makers are doing, right? Most of what they're executing on is likely happening in like an iceberg kind of formation, right? They've just got a bigger block sitting there based on how their delta is changing. So I don't personally feel like Bookmap gives me an edge at all. Like if I never had Bookmap and just traded the way that I normally do, which is making inferences and gaming out probabilities based on these positions and saying like, I think we're going to hit a bottom in here. We might kind of dip into it, but I think this is essentially the floor on the day and we're either going to go up or we're going to chop sideways from here. Bookmap is just going to like show me minute by minute where people are transacting. But to me, if I was going to take a bet on this and I was going to go long, I'd give myself like a 10-point stop and just say it goes where it goes. And then I just watch it and say, all right, if we get to this, that's kind of a first test to the upside. It's about a 2.5-hour trade. If we get up here, that's about a 3-hour trade. If we happen to squeeze and make the run all the way up here, which is like a double the straddle move, which is very improbable, but entirely possible, I got a bottom tick and I only risked 10 points to make 60. It's like the probabilities. What is standing in front of me? This would probably be the best trade for me, more likely than not, is getting back up to this kind of biggest test strike because I know what that strike implies for me. That we are likelier to reject and come back down and find balance, maybe to the pre-market level around 95, or to kind of the start of the floor as the day goes on, which is probably more about 80 to 75 than coming all the way back down here to this biggest strike, right? But the risk of taking a long is prove to me that there's strong enough selling to meaningfully move into what I know should be buying. I know has to be buying by default. So the market has to prove to me that it has enough selling pressure to meaningfully chew into this support, right? It's easier to go up a distance through here and catch some momentum, but it's just as easy to fail and come back down. I just know where we're likely to come back down to, right? So you've already seen what a squeeze-like move can do. So we have momentum. If we get continued bidding, right? You see these orders keep lifting up here. Where does that want to go? We already know, right? It's going to be like a squeezy move, but the risk is what happens on a rejection. The momentum goes right back down just as fast as it went up, right? So that is the risk of longing. So the best risk to reward long was down here because of what you knew was below you, right? But I'm officially out of my shorts, by the way. The shorts I mentioned before from 97 up here, I'm well out of those. I got stopped out here at 80 on that big crazy rip. So that is why I didn't take a long. But for whoever, when I was showing you like, oh, if we actually longed NQ off the same structure, did it work? Fuck yeah, it did. It's over 100 points from there now. So it works. No, Rafi, that's what would have to happen. For it to slowly go down the rest of the day is to basically assume momentum runs out on this kind of a pop, right? And it fails, then it comes down, but any movement here, for it to like really meaningfully move lower, it would have to be like steady, persistent selling. It would be more of a grind than any kind of like crazy drop, right? So that's what I would say. But right now, I think, yeah, best case is probably back into this, kind of testing the top of this wick around 95, which was kind of our big morning strike. And then if you get some extension past that, then obviously you would want to be testing up around 76.05. Can you do that? I'm not so confident that it continues, but it very much has that kind of squeeze momentum potential. And that's where I think you're seeing it. Again, the short positioning goes with whatever the prevailing momentum is. It goes with the flow. So if the flow is strong and you got a lot of market flow and you got some active flow, and like I said before, what happens if volatility comes off? You naturally get buying with that, which makes this recovery easier. If you guys are late, we just kind of talked about why a lot of V-shaped recoveries happen, right? If you know that some spot on the chart has a bunch of positioning that by default absorbs volatility that wants to realize, right? If you know that it's less likely for that volatility to continue to realize because it can't really go any further because you've got a bunch of positions there that are just swallowing that. They're taking that momentum away. Any of that lack of volatility from realizing is naturally going to induce a response the other direction. If you have a bunch of positions that are susceptible to momentum and go with whatever that momentum is, you can snap back through that range, and then if more buying steps in, you can fly through that entire range in a heartbeat, right? Straddle price be damned. It's easier for a lot of those things to happen when the straddle is bigger at the start of the day. That's why, like today, my base case was thinking if we were going to go higher, it needed to be early. And the reason for that is because of that time component. If the clock is running against you and you know you're either at the finish line by 3 p.m. and you've got a flat track and you got wind at your back, it's a lot easier to make that move early than in the afternoon where like all of a sudden there's a big hill that you've got to run between you and the finish line and you might not get there, right? There's something in the way. There's something like if you were swimming, you're swimming against the current instead of with it. And that's the idea of charm, like the passive decay of these positions. When I draw these arrows and I say shape, it's kind of the idea of the if-then trading methodology I like to use. If I'm over this strike, where does it point me to until I hit resistance? If I'm under this strike, where does it tell me I'm probably going to come back to? So for the afternoon, if you're not over a strike, you're under it, right? And what does that tell you about your potential path into the end of the day? So in the pre-market, if we go look at those positions, right? As opposed to the intraday positioning I have right now, what did the pre-market story tell us? And why was I personally bullish in the morning? And I think this will be probably a little more evident here. Key strike, everything's green below us. As long as we're holding kind of over this little support block, I like the potential to test here. And if we cover there, we can potentially go up here, right? So what happened today? At the open, we made that move. We kind of rejected this key strike, came back down, held this supportive area, right? Where did we go? Right back up to the same spot, rejected it again, held it, right? And then we rejected, chopped around it. But again, in this time frame, this is like the London close period. Then the positioning shifted to look more like what it does now. And I took that on board and said, all right, if we're not over a certain strike and I know that the clock is running out on me, do I still see that same story? Well, we're not over this strike. So now, where does that point me down to? Right? That move became more attractive to me than thinking we recovered and went higher from the pre-market position. So everything is pointing me down. I wanted to be a part of this trade instead of thinking this one was still possible, right? When you use the data and you think about things from a probability standpoint, what is more or less probable in this moment for me to, get reward for the risk I put on? Same thing here. Do I really want to keep holding my shorts thinking we go any lower when I know this is slowing me down? Or do I want to start looking at pivoting long? Because the best way to take risk at this point isn't to short the whole, it's to see how much of a reclaim we can get. But I also know if I don't pass this strike that we're at right now, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get to this test. So if I fail here, I'm probably going to come back down around here at the least, and here at the worst, and down here at the absolute worst. But I also know that something else has to get me down there. So it's a lot easier for us to kind of get some relief valve pressure, which we're seeing with VIX, right? Couldn't hold 1650, little volatility comes off, and we magically just start lifting. If then, unless. I don't think you need a book on this trail. This is just that's why I'm here. I'm talking about it and just showing you how easy it is. If you know the behavior, you make some business decisions on the probability of those behaviors proving true. You could say that, Cole. You could say that. Very much you could say that. But there's been a big disparity between ES and NQ lately. But again, the bigger the positioning, the more market structure gets respected on the positioning standpoint from SPX and ES because of the correlation of the indexes. More often than not, like I look at ES as like the real like market indicator. And that's why I think if you look at where we bounced and where NQ started holding and bouncing, I think that has more to do with kind of the ES and SPX structure than anything else. Sorry about that, Vish. Never let great be the enemy, or good be the enemy of great, obviously. But I think in those cases, that actually happened this morning. Somebody was like, "Oh, I missed this first dip move here," because I said I really wanted a 75.95 test because of that big pre-market strike. I wanted that like formally tested. But in certain cases, I'll take the preemptive entry and just risk the bottom of that strike. I'll give myself a 10-point stop or 11-point stop to accommodate that position if I don't want to like miss the move necessarily, right? So somebody missed that first one, but then they ended up kind of longing it later. I forget. I think they got like I don't remember what their first entry was, but someone in the Discord said the same thing, like, "Oh, I missed it because I waited for the formal tap of that number." But you got to look at the structure and kind of say, like even down here, could you say, "Oh, I didn't want to enter unless we hit 75.68 in the middle of that strike"? Sure. But you could have also looked at the entirety of this position and said, well, this whole structure is pretty supportive. So if it kind of dips into this range, I'll take it with a 5-point stop, a 10-point stop, right? And then you made money off of it. So there is kind of an art to it, right? But it's also just more about like what risk are you comfortable with is what I would say in that scenario. But again, here we're kind of seeing the same thing we just talked about, right? With regards to this being kind of the first test and the shape of this working down against us. If you run out of momentum, what happens, right? Where does it want to probably compel you back to? You can lose momentum in a hurry. So what does that do to you in this trade? Where are you going to come back to? Or does it hold on, right? So that is the risk of taking a long, but if your long was down here, your best risk to reward was long from there for a reason. You had more support to dip into. It's easier to prove you wrong if you tried taking a long right here, for example, right? Knowing this whole thing can come right back to you. So your mileage will vary, but I do tend to think we're going to try to reclaim this 75.95 area a couple times. So we'll see what we end up getting. Micro is very low. That is such a random comment. I don't know what that means. Do explain. Do I correlate session highs and lows with the profile, or it doesn't matter to me? The profile is the profile. I'm basing my probabilities on that, not arbitrary high of day, low of day numbers. Those mean nothing to me. Today is today. First entry was 438, second was 479. Sweet. If then unless has been very helpful for me, Courtney says. Yeah, I mean, it helps you just think about every trade you're taking on the chart, right? Whether you, like if you're a price action trader and you're going off of the bar by bar method that Jake leverages, right? If you're using that and you're saying like, if this breaks this bar's high, then I'm looking for a long two here. Unless it fails, then I'm looking for this, right? If then unless. If you're not using that simple framework for your trading, I feel like you're really missing out on like a very strong potential for you to not get mired into a bias that is too strict or rigid, and you're always thinking of the other side of your trade. And then if you're really thinking of it that way, you are protecting yourself from some really bad trades, because like what is more likely in that framework? If this, then that, unless this. How likely is that unless versus the if then, right? Which one is more probable based on whatever your system is telling you? So if you have that, I think your entries and exits, your risk is much, much better. You will keep yourself out of bad trades. If you're trading in the middle of this, if I was going long from right here, if it breaks this strike above me, then it's going to test at least here. So that's like a potentially 10-point move, right? Unless it fails here, then it can come all the way back to here before it starts slowing down. But if it picks up 10 points or 15 points of momentum, does it slow down there for sure? Or does it slow down even further down here? Which trade is more attractive to me? Was the better long when we were down here on the if-then basis? If it holds here, then I test here. If it holds there, then it tests here. Unless it fails, then it comes back to here. But I think it should slow down and we grind and chop at worst. At best, I get the whole range. If, then, unless. What is the strongest if, then for you? Where does the unless part get mitigated a little bit? Right? So, think about that. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like whenever I oversize, that's the trade I lose. You're also basically introducing an inconsistent element into your trading. If you're oversizing, it's not your standard size, right? So you are more prone to feel the effects of that than you are if you would have just taken your normal size. You feel the loss a lot harder when you oversize than you do if you are just consistent on your sizing. So that is something I would think about. Anyway. Woo! You know what's really wild is that this room is so bizarre with the lighting situation. I just realized that like my other monitors being bright are like what blow the picture out. So I thought the dark paint would help with that, but now I'm starting to wonder if it didn't just make it worse. But yeah, so here we're seeing this kind of initial rejection, and the risk here is if any of that bidding turns off, then it's going to start going the other direction in a hurry. So this is kind of the problem with the long if you caught it late as opposed to if you got the best entry short, right? So yeah, hopefully that is making sense for you guys. So if then, if we cover this 95 strike, then I think we, kind of test and then end up, potentially fading back to it. But if we get any selling pressure back in the market here, I think we know where we're likely to go down to. But I'm not necessarily shorting. I think it's a lot easier for volatility to come out than it is to go back up. Just knowing what's below us, it really feels like it's this is just like a potential to just keep trying to retrace higher, and there's a lot of potential momentum for that move. but I already caught shorts on the day and long, so I'm pretty much toast on any continued trades from here. And I am good with that decision. I'm not sad about it at all. So I'm not sure what you guys are doing, but the sign fell, Ron. I got to get some nails. I tried to just 3M tape it just to be like, oh, this is enough. It's not that heavy. Clearly, it was heavier than I gave it credit for. So I'll, yeah. There you go. Let's see. Do we get the pop? Do we get some momentum, or do we start giving this all back? I do tend to think that, again, it's hard to see it going like substantially higher without it being off the back of some kind of like big recovery squeeze move. But again, that pre-market 75, 95 area was pretty big as like a interim balance. And we are currently kind of testing back into that spot. If I was just looking at the intraday positioning, again, like it's really easy to just assume it wants to point us back down. I do think the strongest balance would be kind of closer to the low of the day currently. But I do think the fact that we've kind of made this little bit of a momentum run higher means we can potentially test through this 95. The straddle is still about 15 points. But if you're not really getting up and over this kind of strike here at 76.05 or 76.15 for that matter, it's going to probably compel you back down to that balance. There's just something about 75.50 on SPX lately that's been kind of magnetic. Like if you look left, all day yesterday, we just kind of the whole afternoon, we danced around this strike. So there's something about that spot. And even right now, you know, if we kind of draw our arrows here and just say, okay, if we're actually over this strike, right, we've got kind of a smaller balance. And if we took the pre-market relevance of that position and then everything that's above us pointing down, it, you know, if you're not over this strike, what's kind of like the happy medium there? This kind of tells a story from the pre-market. I just wonder how much we don't stick to that. I'm just a little ambivalent. So that's why I said, like, I don't really personally want to take any other trades right now. I feel very at ease with my situation, having caught longs and shorts today. If we had a big flush now, OPEX would probably hold it there until OPEX ends. I mean, there is a really big strike, an OPEX size strike for the morning contract at 7,500 on SPX. So there is kind of this like magnetic potential there, depending on where we finish here today and tomorrow ahead of Friday morning. But the further away you are from it, the further you have these other strikes under you that kind of compel you higher. The same thing we're talking about today with these arrows and the idea of time. If you were looking at the positioning from Friday morning's OPEX contract to now, we've got X amount of time. There's the idea of charm flows or OPEX flows that kind of give the market some buoyancy. You're likely to like drift up if you're over some key strikes. And I kind of wonder about that. We're holding over 7,500. What else do we have out there for Friday morning? Let's look. Yeah, 7,500 is a big one. Beyond that, you know, like holding over this 75.40 area, that's another long. Tomorrow, 75.25 on SPX, so this 75.70 area is a big dealer long strike. This is kind of, the 76.30 is a resistance tomorrow. At 75.80 on SPX is kind of an afternoon contract for Friday that's of significant size. That's kind of a dealer long that could be also magnetic in the sense of wanting to kind of get up to that or pull us up there. But yeah, I think 7,600 for an upside target for OPEX. That's also like a big dealer long strike for OPEX. So there, as long as we're holding over here and holding these lows, like it's hard not to see that kind of OPEX drift higher. That was also kind of the framework for me coming in, is like, do I really think we give that all back? Like I really, oh, what's up, AXP? I do feel like we are in this range, but we're kind of holding this area and wanting to hold around 75.50. It's just really a strong potential to get up towards 7,600 into Friday. I haven't really been worried about a big dump or a big sell-off. I don't know. It's just, you look at this stuff enough day by day, you kind of know where you're less likely to go. Are we really going to get a big sell-off? It's possible because like there aren't enough people hedged for it or looking for that kind of protection. But the irony is the more people lump in on shorts late, the more that actually provides the buoyancy through the rest of the day. Like the only reason this shape is kind of strong from this standpoint is also because you've got stuff like this below you decaying you up, right? Like that is passively supportive in very much the same way. So it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of a goofy deal, but it is something that I think about a lot. So yeah, your mileage might vary, but it is easy to see kind of the continued drift up. But even right now, if I looked at Bookmap, we've got a lot of stacked orders, but so much of the orders are to the top. So if we actually even sniffed around 7,600 and you took a long from down here at 75, I mean, that's a nice 25-point move on really almost no risk given this structure. So if you didn't know that, if you didn't have that as like a backbone for your trade thesis, and you were kind of guessing or wishing or hoping that you caught the bottom, at least this way you know that there is a structural significance about why that was more likely to be a bottom than not. So yeah, I'm good, AXP. Good day. Took an early couple stabs long. My runners stopped out break even. I almost took another one, and then I'm glad I didn't because I was patient and took a little bit of a speculative short at the start of the stream at 75.97. Covered most at the low, and then got stopped out on the runners at 75.80 on that little gamma squeeze there. So Mitch didn't want to compete. Yeah, Ron's sign is like elite. He's got a big ass logo. I went with like the lowest possible option because I literally didn't know how it would show up in the room. I'm glad I painted because this was like just such a boring white room for so long that every time I streamed, I was like, God, this looks like grandma's basement material. But I think once I get my vinyl on the walls and I get my amps and my speakers all back in place, it'll be a little more of like a real office. So I'm excited about that. But we'll see how it shakes out. I tend to like it a little bit better. Might have missed some messages here. Work wife. I don't know where she's been. She's been hoeing around out there somewhere. But I am glad that at least one person kind of understood that if-then framework, right? Like, it is paramount to my trading. It's what allows me to trade both directions in a day and not get stuck in a bias. So I do think that's something like everybody should really think about. Like, even if you're saying I'm long because, what is the unless? Like, what keeps you out of that trade? So even if you're because your if then works out initially, what is the unless you have in the back of your mind to say like, what might disprove that? What should be the thing that maybe gives me a little pause? It might keep you out of some trades that would have been winners, right? But even for me this morning, I was long off the open because I saw the potential on the day to get up. If we cleared 76.30, I wanted to be along for the ride for that next leg because it could come very quickly, right? And my whole bias on the day was if we're not higher early, it's going to be really hard to not get stuck in the middle or lower if it doesn't happen in the first half of the day, because then time and everything that's up there starts weighing against you. So I was very interested in being a part of that early. Now, I was also not looking to short that, but I went to break even very quickly because I knew there was the potential to come back down to 75.95. Because from the pre-market positioning, I think I even said it in the chat. What I really wanted in the open is I didn't want to go long right away. I really wanted it to prove to me that 75.95 was the support here. So I wanted that dip down. So when we got here, this is where I took the ad at like 76.0250, I think was my entry, because I was willing to give it this 10-point structure to say good enough for me. And then that trade worked out and we just could not get over the hump at 76.30. So I ended up just saying, okay, I'm out most, I'll leave my runner, and I got stopped to break even again. And I was about to long it from here again. And I just said, I just want to see how this behaves. And then I ended up taking that short. So having that if then allowed me to take the view of an initial stab, a reason to maybe go break even instead of give it the full stop, give it a second attempt because it came down into that area. It was displaying the behavior I would expect in this zone, and I was willing to bet on the probability it would go back higher. Yeah, not that I need to explain that to you guys. I think like it's kind of self-evident, but if you're going to trade a framework and a structure, you have to have something that aligns, right? There's a deterministic if-then paired with the probabilities of what we would expect mechanically at these areas, right? Does it make sense? I hope so. We say it enough. But yeah, I do think, again, we're seeing the expected behavior here. We're seeing this being a resistance. It's not really helping us go anywhere. I think because you do have this, obviously the overall shape is pointing us back down, right? But I think the kind of fish-bony nature of this shows kind of the inconsistency. And I do think there is something to be said for the pre-market positioning there of that 95 that I think is probably in the background, even though it's showing red on that intraday positioning. I think this is a key strike. I think the totality of the positioning is still very much supportive from the morning. And I think some of the intraday speculation to the downside is probably keeping us afloat a little bit at this moment, passively speaking. So until you see a bunch of big selling volume come in to kind of give this all back up, to me it seems like it's decently, supportive here. So I'm going to trade that accordingly. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that is probably going to do it for me. Here in a couple minutes, we will have Christian taking over. Hopefully, I haven't seen any messages from him. I think he must be okay and ready to go. I know he's traveling. Yesterday, he had a little bit of an AC issue with his room. So hopefully he is keeping cool in New York, not breathing in too much smoke. My mic, are you sure? Is anyone else hearing me quietly? I feel like I've been talking my normal volume all day, so. Am I trading NQ? Not today, but should I have done it when I said this is where I would take a long on NQ? Yeah, because if we would have done that, we'll just take a peek here. We would have essentially caught about a 160 point move, which would have paid a hell of a lot more than ES did on the same thing. So, yeah. Yeah, I thought the mic was good. So I apologize, Alec, but I think I would be checking your situation there before mine. But yeah, guys, I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Christian. No sneaky giveaway for me today, guys. Like I said, I came to the stream late. I've got a lot of work to get back to, unfortunately. So, yeah, this is kind of a bit of a V-shaped recovery. We'll see how much legs it gets. If you guys really wanted my kind of base case into the afternoon, I feel like we've kind of covered it at length already. I think that the strike that we have to get over to comfortably finish higher is unironically 76.15. I think that is kind of what you guys can see. If you get over that strike, you have the potential to kind of make this move, which would be crazy because, obviously we got some volatility and the straddle really reduced, but it's still kind of holding about 15 points. So if you make that happen soon, there is that kind of squeezy momentum potential to get you up there. If you fail to cover that, I think we actually probably come back down again to right about where we are. Because this kind of passively kind of finds a balance there. I think that pre-market number at 75.95 will prove to be more important than it's represented on this chart right now, just because of everything else underneath us. I can't shake that feeling. Otherwise, yeah, I think the strongest support on the day is down at the low, but that would need some volatility, and obviously VIX is actually probably going to break the low of the day here shortly. So we may just get that V-shaped recovery, but hopefully you guys understand the dynamics of why that kind of stuff happens, and you learned a little something today. And again, nothing official yet, but I may be on the verge of an affiliation officially with VS3D because that is my preferred platform. So I will let you guys know if anything comes of that. But that is the platform I would recommend if you want to trade like this. I know many of you in the chat world have done so. So I thank you guys for supporting Dan and his product. He's great. Obviously, it has changed my trading and leveraging that and sharing this with you guys every day. So more to come on that. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't know how quickly that's going to happen, but I don't get a discount, so I don't know what that would look like even. But if maybe they sponsor the hour or something, who knows? But thank you guys for being here, and I'm going to go ahead and take off. And good luck to Christian in New York. See you later. God damn.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. We're game, chat. We're game. We are game, chat. How's everyone doing? Everyone good? Everyone good, chat? What's up? What's up? Slightly toasted, my guy. Hope you're having a great, honestly, having an amazing time. Being detaching, and I love it. I love it. Jay Kings, my guy. What's up? What's up? Alex Berlin. Yeah, it's looking like a very good session. I'm very excited. So we'll see if we can catch anything. For the first time in the last like 2 weeks, I think PM has very good potential. Greeting, Earthlings, my guy. What up? What up? We'll see if we get botted today again, chat. Lomeli, my guy, I'm here, bro. I'm here for you. My guy, AXP, appreciate you, brother. How's New York? It's amazing. I love it. Something about I was sharing this with my girlfriend. Like whenever I get myself out of routine, I get very creative, right? It's like I get these creative juices flowing, and I love it. I love it, and I'm excited. Yeah, but literally just want to go get some breakfast this morning, and I went to sleep extremely fucking late. Got some breakfast this morning, and I grabbed some coffee before coming here. And I'm excited for PM. Doing great here. That's amazing. Lomeli Vish, my guy. What's up? What's up? Luca Futures, my guy. MNQ Longs from 432. Your EOB, my guy. What's up? What's up? Gonna give it a minute here to let people trickle in. Yeah, I didn't end up going to a steakhouse. We were looking for a spot, and we ended up going to Los Tacos Número Uno. And it was amazing. I think today we found a spot. I think it's called we're in between a couple, right? There was one we passed by today yesterday, which was called, it was right across the street from Whole Foods. It was called Zuzu's, I think. The ambient looked nice. There's just a ton, right? But we were craving tacos yesterday. What's up, Rye Guy? Rye Guy the Fly Guy. What's up, brother? Mr. West Village, my guy. What's up? What's up? Let me see. Gonna make a quick little Instagram story here. Post 1 second while people trickle in. Oops. I just disliked my own video. Copy link. Let's see. Paste link. How's everyone doing? Did anyone catch the shorts this morning? Anyone catch the shorts? Let's see. How do I change the... Oh, it's right here. Let's throw some music on here. What is that? There you go. The story. Throw on a little location. All right, cool. Quick Instagram story. Let's see. Nah, it was on accident. I tried to copy the link. Lomeli, what's up, Victoria? I did know. Smoked on YM longs nearly the open. Sheesh. YM longs nearly at the open. Let's see. At the opening bell. Oh, I'm assuming you got ticked out. Wrong? Assuming you got ticked out. Let's see. Got my ass handed to me, hoping for a bounce in this bottom range. I caught the long on Nvidia after the dip. Rev copied, never copied Jake. Never a small recovery on this up move. Took the Jape opening long, yes, and made my max for the day. Had to lock my account. Fuck yeah, that's always good to hear. Nah, I bought that dip around 52880. Oh, smoked. I don't know why I read got smoked. Nah, I bought that 52880. Let me see. 52880. Replay. Start new. 82880. Fire. Yeah, YM didn't really do much, right? After that entry. Did you get out before prior month highs? That long got smoked. Oh, I see. Lock the account after max profit is the best feeling ever. Fuck yeah. No better feeling than catching a banger right off the open and calling it a day like 30 minutes into open. Is Apex a good prop? I think all props are good. It's just a matter of preference, right? Like, are you... it is on the cheaper end, and it has its perks, right? The fact that you can compound multiple accounts up to 20, but I think they do it differently now. But I do think the trailing drawdown is what gets most people away, and then the payout rules, right? You have certain props that have easier payout rules, such as like Tradeify, Lucid, Top Step. But yeah, it's all preference. Okay, chat. Let's hop into the charts here before I miss anything. I am bullish bias coming into the day, right? Yesterday, I had mentioned that these lows looked a little too nice to not get taken out in the beginning of the stream, and that's exactly what we came back down to take, right? So, again, a quick little top down, right? There's not much on the weekly we can really look at other than the fact that it's in a range inside last week's bar. We are uptrending, right? But again, like I keep mentioning throughout the week, it's expected after a move like we had, right? The move happened off of a monthly fair value gap entry, right? And that's what moved us higher. Now we, for the last about 2 months now, we've been kind of consolidating inside this bar's, inside this candle essentially. And I do believe that the range would more than likely happen once we take out these this bar's low, which would be a gap entry. Not saying we're going to get the move right away, but what I am kind of anticipating is once we get to that area for, I guess, chop, quote unquote, or barbed wire on the weekly or daily to essentially just overall have price action be a little bit better, right? But so far on the weekly, we have rejected this weekly gap entry 1, 2, 3 times, right? Last week's bar was the one that rejected it the 3rd time on the daily. But again, there's not much other than range or barbed wire reaction. Even worse on the daily, we're kind of creating this wedge like I mentioned yesterday. We inverted this bearish gap, right? Inverted it and then came back trading above it after taking out this swing low, after ES took out this swing low inside a bullish gap here in discount of this leg, trading higher, creating higher highs essentially and higher lows. And yesterday's bar essentially created a potential higher low inside a bullish order block here, right? Swing high would be essentially the objective here for ES at the 7628 level. Yeah, so ES has been definitely more directional than NQ. NQ has been staying in the range, although ES is similar, right? We're not getting displacive moves, kind of like we were getting earlier in the last couple weeks or even the last month. But we are technically still uptrending on ES, right? NQ on the other hand is kind of holding its range. We did bounce again off that daily order block yesterday. The 4 hour now. 4 hour is where I'm getting kind of my bias from. We inverted this bearish gap yesterday, which I mentioned, which is kind of where we took the trade off of yesterday. And yeah, today we came back to discount of the range, and it's looking like the 4 hour candle is going to close very bullish here on ES, right? After touching discount of the range and testing the invert, right? Same thing here. The same level I was talking about yesterday, the 545 level, was the area where I wouldn't say I forced a trade yesterday on stream, but it was just more so off of what I really wanted to see was this happening, which we're getting now, which is I'm excited to see if price action validates my thesis, if we get an entry, right? And if so, it would be a good quality setup today. So again, a 4 hour small little fair value gap here in discount of the range, right? ES, of course, being the leading asset here. We have relative equal highs here. And if we look at NQ closely, we have, nice little stacked highs here that I think we can go up and target. If not today, later in the week, depending on how we react here, right? If we hold prior day's lows and we hold this essentially swing low, I do think that these highs will still be the target, right? The hourly, we have an unmitigated hourly fair value gap here up above us. So if I do get an entry, I would be targeting the gap fill at the 754 level. ES, on the other hand, it has no bearish fair value gap here, right? So the only real target here on ES would be that swing high or London high, which comes very close to, whenever there's two levels that are very close, I just target the further one, right? So the 628 is still the level. So we'll see if this, what I'm anticipating happening is with this sort of strength right now, that we're getting off that level, something like this to happen, pull back, and then continuation. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And if this were to happen, for me, it would be A+. Targeting that gap fill, right? Let's see, 15 minute, we got the invert already. We got the invert fair value gap here, and let's scoot this to the left. We already got it as well on ES. We got an invert here. So let's change that, invert. So yeah, at this point, it's literally, I have everything that I want to see from price, right? This is, in my books, A+. Now, what I'm literally waiting for now is for price to give me essentially a pullback, right? I don't want to be trading this, right? Because then my stop would have to be essentially at the swing low, and my target, it just doesn't make sense, right? Even here, right? It's not even a 1 hour trade. So I'm waiting for a pullback to then zoom in. And so now let's just zoom in on NQ. We have an invert here, like I mentioned, right? We have a 5 minute order block here that I drew out in price, and we have a that's about it, actually. The 1 minute's been delivering. Something to pay attention to is the 1 minute has been delivering pretty bullish, right? Every down candle on the 1 minute has been getting respected here, respected here, respected here, since the swing low here, right? So yeah, essentially just waiting for a pullback. If we can get a pullback, right? And maybe perhaps it's also, maybe we take out that high. It's also discount of the range where we get the pullback. So it's looking good. I just gonna be, again, patient to get my entry model. If I can get my entry model here, I'd be willing to take a trade here today. Let me see, daily 30 minute. How's a 30 minute looking? 30 minute, 15 minute. We have a fair value gap here on the 15 minute. FEG. How's a 5 minute looking here? Let's title this hourly 1 hour bearish gap entry. On the right, okay. So again, this is a 15-minute gap that we have here. We have a small little 5-minute gap is there as well. So I think price is headed towards that gap entry, and then we'll get the pullback afterwards. So something like that, to then continue me higher into the hourly gap fill. That would be kind of what I'd be looking for. 5. Now I guess what I'm thinking is this fair value gap here entry enough, or do I wait for the invert? Well, what I'd want to see ideally is us pull back, right? Tap it, displace, get an invert, and have the 15-minute close inside this bullish gap, then trade us higher. That'd be nice. That'd be kind of what I'd be looking for. But if we just completely displace from here, then I'm going to have to readjust and look for some sort of entry model up above us, right? So for now, currently, as we speak, I am bullish bias, looking for something like this, right? Let's see. Back to chat. One second, chat. 1 second. Let me check something real quick. One second. Okay. Any reason we didn't take out prior day lows? I think it's just given the fact that we have how much we're in a range, right? How much we're in a range kind of tells me everything, right? If we look strictly at the daily, like there's no clean direction. So in my opinion, I don't think you should be expecting to have like these lows taken out, these lows taken out, right? We're literally zoom out, right? If this was the 5-minute chart, right? If this was the 5-minute chart, it's currently the weekly, right? If this was a 5-minute chart, I don't think this is I think this is stuck in a range, and I just wouldn't know if price shot up, right? To pause and then continue, right? Or just pause to come back down, right? So I think that the higher timeframes are in a range, which is making the lower timeframes a little bit harder to trade, but it's still possible, right? It's still doable. It's just your approach has to be slightly different, right? You have to be more premium discount type of trading, meaning just meaning fading extremes, right? Like that, fading extremes, rather than trying to catch, if you catch a short, trying to catch the whole move, right? It seems like we are now just getting some volatility, so we'll see if we even get the pullback. If not, excuse me, I'd readjust. But for now, still, I'm very bullish bias. But we have room up until the 0.93 on ES, or 0.94 on ES, or sorry, on NQ, and then ES has the 7.628 level, which again, we'll see if I even get a potential entry here. But for now, literally just waiting. Lomeli Gangus here, my guy, MES Polar Bear. What's up, brother? Wanted a long on around 500 on NQ, but hesitated. 500 on NQ, that would be sheesh, you would have caught the fucking bottom. Yeah, it's the same level I was talking about yesterday, which is nice to see it. We're getting some reaction off of it. But I mentioned that nothing was really high quality until we took out this low, or we took out the swing highs from yesterday, which even when we did overnight, it didn't really do anything. But now price is aligning to what I want to see, and now it's just a waiting game to get an entry. Do you only trade afternoon? No, my bread and butter is morning New York, but right now, currently that I'm in New York, I just my regular trading time is New York session, right? But right now that I'm physically in New York, I'm taking a quick little break off of New York and literally just popping in for PM. So back at home when I'm in routine, I trade both. Predominantly, my focus would be AM session. Yeah, I am just hesitant to enter longs when we miss prior day lows by 10 pips. By 10 pips would be, I see it, about 100 points. Not necessarily, because if you look at ES, right, we're not, we're still kind of ranging. Even on the 4 hour here on NQ, right? If we look at supply demand, whatever you want to call it, right? At the end of the day, price is just price, right? We've been rejecting the same little area multiple times throughout this ranges action. And if we look at ES, the 4 hour on ES is going to close very bullish, right? Indicating good reaction off my area of interest. Now, yeah, again, price came down literally to take out those relative equal lows here on the 15-minute chart. And we are now displacing higher. Again, gonna just wait for some sort of pullback. We'll see if we can get one before ES takes out prior week high. See. Damn, no pullback. Keeps pushing. Yeah, currently just waiting. Yeah, I get why I felt like too much of a gamble the way we slammed, the way we saw. Brothers in New York trading New York session. How's the transition from what? From time zones? I think afternoon is the best session. The best session. I think no, for me personally, I think New York session, AM session is the best session. You wake up to 8 hours of work and then trade versus waking up sluggish for, yeah. That's one thing I'd say though, is I'm still waking up, I take that back, it's not early, but I'm waking up like around 9ish here. And man, it's the Eastern time zone for trading is a lot better, in my opinion. Hey man, Fedo, my guy, what's up, brother? I stopped trying to wake up so early unless it's natural. I do best when I do my morning routine, stretch, words of affirmation, and hit the charts. Yeah, for a lot of people, I think the big thing there is just like your sleep. Your sleep is probably just way better when your body and mind are just performing at a better level when you get enough sleep. And I think that's the main thing there. We'll see if we get a pullback, chat. Or we'll see if I'm trying to wake up. When recorded masterclass part 2 on the personal channel or even psych lesson. Yeah, I'm gonna chat. Yeah, I apologize because I've been extremely back in. This is one thing I noticed is like when I'm back at home, I get such in my routine that it's very draining, right? It's very draining for me to do more things once I'm done with my workday, right? So, and that's one thing I notice every time I kind of take myself out of routine and kind of detach and go on these trips. I kind of get in flow mentally, like creatively. I just get in flow, and it makes me want to do more and which is kind of counterintuitive. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I just feel more like I want to be productive when I'm kind of outside my regular environment. And so yeah, I'm working on it. I'm gonna do it once I get back. There's a lot of traveling for me this next couple months, but I'm on it. JN, my guy. Did you catch any shorts? No, I didn't even open my laptop this morning. I more than likely probably won't trade AM this week. Gonna really detach and literally only work for 2.5 hours a day. You fully moved to New York or just visit? No, I'm just visiting. Literally like my 5th time in the last, what is it? Slightly over a year. Yeah, New York's amazing to come and detach. And would I live here? No, but I love the city. I love the ambient. The Alex, my guy, what's up, brother? Where are you going to next? So I'm going to here, actually, let me pop up my flights. I have I'm going to so in the span of the next, what are we in? Literally like month and a half. So what is that? Like 6 weeks. I'm going to I'll be in I have to go to LA on so I touch down on Thursday. I have to be in LA on Saturday. I'll probably stay there for a couple of days. And then come back. I'll go to Washington and Washington towards the later end of July. I'm gonna go to Chicago. I'm gonna go to Seattle. And then I come back to New York in literally like what? Less than a month. And did I say Seattle already? And then I have a one-way ticket to Costa Rica. So that one-way ticket to Costa Rica is what I'm excited for. I don't know if it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 months, but that's what I'm very excited. Market was bad this morning and very slow. The man wants to move to Miami. You know what? I go back and forth, right? I kind of told myself that I think what I need to do, because I went to Miami when I was 22. Yeah, I was 22. So damn, I was 21 or 22, but I want to visit Miami again and kind of stay there for a little bit longer to see if that's even something I would like now. At the time I loved it, right? You got the cars, you have everyone's fit, you know, the restaurants, the coffee shops, you have the I don't know, nice apart, like everything about it seems nice, but I do think that I don't know if it's something I really want. So we'll see. Let's see, charts. Hourly. So the new candle, 4-hour candle opens here in the next couple of minutes. So we'll see once we pull back. Oh, it'd be nice if we come back to that order block, fair value gap, invert. But do we get that big of a pullback? I don't know. Yeah, for now, I'm going to wait. Going to wait very patiently for some sort of pullback. 15-minute, we have this, I guess you could say breaker here on the 15-minute. Here, let me just zoom into that 15-minute breaker. Right. Let's remove that, remove this. 15-minute breaker, 15-minute fair value gap here. What's on the 5 minute? Really nothing here on the 5 minute other than this big gap up above us. So we'll see how we react off this level. Or if today's gonna be one of those days where we just continue higher on the 5 minute. If price continues like this on the 5 minute, it's unfortunate, but I'm not looking to trade this continuation. I want to see a pullback. That's what I'm essentially looking for here, chat. Are you winning, son? Bought the 8 sleep for nothing. Honestly, brother. But no, regardless, nonetheless, you know what's crazy, MES Polar Bear, is that the 8 sleep, like, I genuinely love it. I love it. Sleeping here at the hotel has been fucking shitty sleep. I hate it. No, it's been whatever. Part of it maybe is because I don't know, going to bed hella late. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I do think that the 8 sleep was fucking amazing. That's why, yeah. That's awesome. Different experience, brother. Yeah. Miami's a good place to visit, but the place is hell on earth. Ah, shit. Yeah. Yeah. I just really want to. I think after August, September, October. Yeah. And then, yeah, December, I'll be in. I want to visit Brazil. I want to spend New Year's in Brazil. And then before that, I would love to do a birthday trip somewhere. So, yeah, Miami's going to be hard to fit because I do want to stay. I want a period of like 2-3 months. September, October. Yeah, where I just lock in, right? The older you get, the more you want to move. For slow life. Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at, to be honest. South Beach scene is cool, but I can see it getting old to me at least. Yeah. What's up? What's up? Lomeli dropping by to like the stream. Have a good day. My guy, appreciate you, Preppy. Hope you crushed it today. I've been living in South Beach for about 5 years. Still love it. Always something going on. Beach any day you want, pretty much. Yeah, that honestly, I just want to be. The one thing I love about Miami is the fact that the weather's amazing. The beach is amazing. Water is fucking perfect. It's not like California beaches. Everything is pretty modernized, meaning you can, for me at least, like the way I look at it is like every single corner has what I want, right? If I want the new and hot new restaurant, it's there. If I want the amazing steak, if I want sushi, like every single little bit that everything is how do I even word this? I can get what I want there essentially, right? I don't have to get out of that little bubble. So it's the way I look at it is very efficient for, you know, work and detaching and getting a mix of both, right? And on top of that, like I said, weather, I love hot weather when there's beaches involved. So yeah, it's and for me at least, like seeing seeing the money, right, whether real or fake, that's around you, for me it's very motivating. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like it's this constant thing of like wanting to one up each other, right? Which I think that could be a good thing, but also could be very negative. We're approaching DWAP, like you said. Yeah, I want to see a pullback, like I said. Otherwise, I'm not touching this. $15-minute, 5-minute. Yeah, this. I think that this displacement move that we are having needs a little pause. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I feel like Miami and the Bay Area have the same competitive nature, keeping up with the Joneses vibe. Honestly, yes. I've been to some areas. Yeah, I yes and no, right? Like the Bay Area is less flashy, I would say, but there are some parts of the Bay where it does feel like that. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about myself too, Rye Guy. You said anywhere can get old after a while. For me, I noticed that I need to get myself out of routine. Otherwise, I'll go crazy, literally go crazy. And I think that it's a privilege, right? I'm very fortunate to do so. But I noticed that about myself. I get very almost stressed being in one place. So I have to keep moving, right? Whether that's on a day-to-day basis or like month-by-month basis or year-by-year, like I have to get myself out of routine purposely. And I think the best way to do so for me that I found was just going to a new city, new country, right? And kind of resetting and kind of coming back to ground and kind of in a way kind of asking myself, all right, is where I'm heading towards like am I happy, right? Because at the end of the, I wouldn't even use the word happy. Am I content? But I would pick Fort Lauderdale over Miami. I've heard things about Fort Lauderdale. Also, Tampa, is it? Tampa? I'm big sad. Why, Mitch? For my stream as the could easily go long from here. Oh, did you catch it, Mitch? Well, half of the people in Miami are LARPing or scamming. Yeah, that's another thing. LARPing. How did that word even come about? LARPing. LARPing. Search window. Live action roleplay. A hobby where participants physically act out character roles in real world settings. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Am I stupid for not knowing that? Mitch, I feel you. No idea, just caught on to what it meant. Live action roleplay. Please watch the lightning bolt video. Which one? Best LARPing bit lightning bolt video. Send the link, Mitch. Is it football or trading? Is it football or trading? What do you mean by that? And Brownie? I turned it down. Chad, did we see Jake's stories today? They had me fucking dying. I turned it down. I was like so much younger. LARPing is faking who you are. Yeah, it could be that, but also it could be kind of acting as if you're already there. I could see it as like this way of manifesting as well. So yeah, it's I think technically what it does mean is faking a persona essentially, or faking something, faking a life. Or but again, if you watch the video, do it and you're cool. Was able to bottom tick the trade, but not the whole move. Was able to. Oh, I see. Fire. Fuck yeah, RJV. What was your R multiple in that trade? Let me see. I got you, Mitch. Let me see. Let me pop it up here on my phone. What the fuck is this, Mitch? lightning bolt. Victor, I think that question is very I don't think you should look at price like that. This is just my opinion. Take it as that. Take it with a grain of salt. I think price, man, it's how do I word this? It doesn't work on an algorithm as much as you you guys want to think it does. Price will do what it wants to do, and I think I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why certain things happen. I think price just does what it does, and it's your job to kind of position yourself when you find edge or when you see edge present itself, right? I don't think it's something has to happen, right? Hi, Christian. Sammy, my guy. Man, we were not getting a fucking pullback. Which I'm okay with. We'll see if we get a pullback before the hourly gap fill or ES takes out the swing high. Kind of what I'm waiting for here. The second 2R, fuck yeah, that bro. Do that every day and you're fucking golden. How are you doing? Good, Sammy. How are you doing? What the fuck was that video? Brother, yeah. Honestly, I was a little hesitant to play it on stream, but yeah, it's not even that bad. It's just some people LARPing. Anyone's trader rate tripping? Not mine. It was I'll tell you this though, last week it was tripping for yeah, last week I had a day where it was just acting funny. Order to reach there to put me in a position now. Hey, Lomeli, sorry I'm a little. No, my guy, you're good. 29,800 looks like a magnet for NQ. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this speed and displacedness is nice. But we'll see if we even get a pullback. After that invert, we started moving. -minute. So the new 15 minutes going to form here soon. Then we have a breaker down below it. We have a 5-minute gap entry here as well. So that could be an area of interest. It'd be nice if we get a we also have not yet actually. I was going to say a 30-minute fair value gap, but not yet. We'll see if the entry comes later in the day, kind of like around 12-ish. So in the next 45 minutes. Man. LA time. No, I'm not going to do that. It's going to confuse me. I was so much younger. Man, that video is a classic. This market is crazy week of price action. Slashed in 30 minutes on open and V-shape from nowhere. Yeah, it's been yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm taking this week off for morning, right? I was close to trading today, but I was like, you know what, let me detach, right? Detach. I'll be back full time, quote unquote, on Monday. But yeah, no better week than this week to take off for me, right? Looking at how we've been. Not saying there's no opportunity, but yeah. For hourly, how's the hourly? Hourly 4 hour. Let's see, where's the 4 hour EQ? We're at the discount 1 hour. -minute. How's ES here looking? ES 15-minute. Trying to see where ES could potentially pull back into before heading higher. New week. Where's the new day opening gap here on ES? Down there. New day opening gap is above us here. Yeah, I'd want us to tap down into this area, right? Hit the breaker, hit the 15-minute gap entry, hit the 5-minute gap entry as well. That's kind of the area of interest for now. I don't think we come back down all the way down into the invert discount of the range. I don't think we trade down into that. We also have like this 30-minute change in state here. But with how price is looking, I wouldn't be surprised if we just reject this 5-minute order block just to trade higher, honestly. Let's see. Haven't traded since last Monday. Just can't find an A+ setup during my window of trading. It's exhausting, but kind of feel like it's been protecting my account anyways. Honestly, that used to feel very unproductive to me, right? I would show up and not take a trade, but I think the longer you do that, the longer you reinforce positive behaviors in your trading. And even better, whenever the setup does present itself and it's a winner and it makes your week and it's a big winner, it literally reinforces everything that is right, that should be right about trading. Lomeli is actually in Jacksonville. Nope. Big Ben. Oh, Big Ben out in Jacksonville. Man, I sometimes I feel like I have a. I always found that video hella funny. Offered him like 15 mil, 10 mil, 5 mil, some shit like that. I turned it down. Excuses to what? It's milk. Your Charsky free? Yeah, I know. It's because I go back and forth between chat and my charts. But as soon as I go back on the charts, yeah. I guess what I learned now is I do need another monitor. Need another monitor here for stream, which I'll pick up before I head anywhere else on another trip. But yeah, chat. Waiting on price here. Waiting to see if and when we get a pullback, I can get a potential entry. Which this is A+ setup in my books. I just need to wait for a pullback essentially. And if we just rebalance off of this 5-minute order block, I am not taking it. I want to see more of a pullback. I'll pull back into a more valid area of interest. So for me, that would be that 15-minute breaker, right? Which overlaps with a fair value gap here, essentially, even this one. And we do have a 5-minute fair value gap as well here, right? So the level exactly that I'm looking for price to touch is the 637 for me to be involved. We shall see if we get that. This last 2 weeks have taught me that trading is so fucking boring. Milk just waiting on your signal right now? Yeah. I turned it down. Oh shit. I'm just spamming. I turned it down. Yo, the Bo J King, my guy. What's up, brother? Hope you're crushing it, my guy. Yeah, I think you get to another level when trading becomes boring, but it's the mind that fucks with you, right? The mind kind of makes it to where it wants trading to be stimulating, and that's what makes you to, or at least for me, that's what make me kind of jump into certain things that I shouldn't really be jumping into. We'll see if the next hourly candle remains how it's looking. And if so, we tap the hourly fair value gap, right? That we're forming 50-minute gap, 50-minute breaker, and that would be a very, very good setup for the upside. So long we don't take out this level and more importantly, the prior week high level at 628.75 on ES. Still waiting. Something like that again. Yeah, that last 15-minute bars have been extremely fucking bullish, which I love. I love when we get clean displacive action, right? Rather than the action we got yesterday or literally the last like 2 weeks. You know that guy came out and said he wasn't lying? Brother, I saw a video where he was talking about, yeah, I did that shit on purpose. In my head, I'm like, fuck no. He went back on the same podcast talking about, yeah, I knew that shit would go viral. Hell nah. Brother was so lost, he didn't even know why it went viral. Yeah, today's been great. How'd you do this morning? I haven't been trading AM session. I'll probably get back to AM session. I was considering tomorrow. I took the last 3 days off essentially from morning, but more than likely probably just come back on Monday AM. Don't think there's enough time to the left to do all that. Yeah, if there isn't, then I don't take anything. No worries. Oh wait, never mind. Oh wait, then maybe I saw something else. Yeah, wasn't lying. No, I think he's just trolling, right? I think you probably did see that video. I don't know, but it's funny as hell to me. The video Jake posted today of the last one, talking about the best one yet. That shit. Talk about quality production. He goes to the bail. It has that the envelope that says Big Band University up in Jacksonville, something like that, right? That shit was funny. Let's see price here, chat. Yeah, like someone mentioned on chat, we'll see if we even get a pullback, but I do think that a very good setup would be if the hourly candle closes in the next 30 minutes, we get a pullback into the hourly gap entry. And with that in mind, we tap into, of course, the 15-minute gap, 15-minute breaker, and we displace out of it, right? I think that if I can get an entry like such before this high gets taken out at 754, or not even a high, before that level gets taken out, and before ES takes out 628, that would be, in my books, a very good setup. That if that were to happen, the setup would happen around probably like 45 minutes from now. But if that's assuming we don't get the pullback here now, right? So I'm still waiting. Still waiting. Let's see. Chat, if you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe. You used to live in Jacksonville, but you found it hilarious. There's no big college in Jacksonville. Oh, shit. That's fucking funny, man. Lomeli, vamos, Argentina. Man, that's what I'm going to do after stream is go to a bar, get some Guinness, split some G's, and watch the game. I don't know if a sell-off happens. I think the sell-off will be continuous. Not enough time for the day to reserve the reverse back up. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just creating scenarios, and if they don't play out, then I'm okay with it. Well, technically, the Jaguars are owned by the Londoner, so maybe he's making the London connection. Yeah, who knows? That's getting very technical and giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he watched a TikTok video talking about Jacksonville and for the interview. What religion are you getting into? Saw your story. You showed up to church and it was closed. I guess no religion, but I just no specific religion. It's just me kind of getting more into faith. The church I did go to was a Catholic church, but I have gone to Christian churches as well, and yeah, just overall just getting more into prayer and things of that, right? But no specific religion, at least yet. Just asking some advice. I passed my 10 Apex evals today. Just wondering, you think I should trade one mini or stick with 4 micros, but one trade per day? That's a good question. And I think it's a very good question because how you approach it determines everything, right? Like, are you okay with one mini? First off, are they 50K accounts? Piggy trades? Love to hear that, brother. God bless you. My guy, appreciate you. Are they Piggy? Okay, so with one mini, you can essentially, at market open, you can blow them in the first 5 minutes. Or you can actually, get a good cushion in the first 5 minutes. So it's up to you. Like, are you okay with losing them right away and then going back to the drawing board and resetting? If so, then I would say doing the one mini, right? But yeah, I think that's very contingent, just given the drawdown, right? The trailing drawdown. I would say maybe somewhere in between where you're risking, instead of risking, say you risk 300 per trade, just given the trailing drawdown, right? I think that's a smarter approach, given you do have 10, and if you plan on copy trading them all, it would be slightly smarter. Drummer wanted big bad up in Jacksonville. That's hella funny. Chat, probably let's pop up the video chat while we wait for the entry. Some people on chat are probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh wait, you know what? I turned it down. For those that haven't seen it yet.
Where'd you go to college?
I ain't go to college, but I turned it down.
Oh.
Yeah, I turned it down just to do this, just to grind.
Oh shit, hold on, chat. I didn't put it up on screen. Hold on, 1 second. Let's restart it.
Scholarship and everything.
Where'd you go to college?
I ain't go to college, but I turned it down.
I watched that video for motivation.
I turned it down just to do this, just to grind from the rap.
So you had an opportunity to do the drumming thing.
Yeah,
in
scholarship
college.
and everything.
Where at?
I think it was like in Jacksonville. Yeah, a big band in Jacksonville. It was a big college.
Big band up in
They
Jacksonville.
offered me like 15, some shit like 10 million or something like that. 5 million, something like that. A scholarship.
Bro thought our college was a record label
They offered you $5 million to play.
offering 15 mil.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Like, what the fuck y'all, like.
I mean, yes, he was so much younger.
Like,
Wait.
I didn't know what it
Are
was.
you sure they offered you $5 million?
I
play
turned it down.
Man, that's what gets me for me. It's this chat. It's the I turned it down. Also had to go. Yeah, man. Everything about that video is fucking. It's fucking comedy. Oh shit! Music, chat. We'll see if we get a pullback here. It's looking like price is stalling here for a bit, but I do want to see again. I do want to see a pullback, and I think that patient pays, right? So if we get the pullback, get a good entry, I think yeah, today should be a good day. Patience, chat, patience. What's the like count for the giveaway? Today there is no giveaway. Well, I lost a lot of evals this year, and those Apex was my last attempt after taking 2 weeks off, and I actually took time to pass these. Oh, if that's the case, brother, I would take it. This is what I would do, honestly, Piggy. You have 10 accounts. I would maybe split them in three different groups, right? 3 different groups, and even that one mini. If you're okay with risking a lot, I would copy trade 3 at a time, trade 1 mini, and try to get out of the max drawdown if you're already thinking like that, right? And it gives you the best of both worlds, because if you yeah, so copy trade 3, do the 1 mini approach that you were already thinking, and go about it that way. Don't even activate the other accounts just yet, right? Take 1 trade a day for the next 20 trades, no matter, you know, green or red. But make sure you stick to literally that 1 trade a day, 1 session, and have a cutoff time, right? Like, it might be the first hour and a half of market open. If there's nothing, 1 red trade, walk away, 1 green trade, walk away. But what you're working on currently is building that muscle. You want to build that muscle to where green or red, you're able to walk away and you're not forcing it. You're waiting for the best setup. You're following your time. Everything's methodical, everything's strategic. And who knows, right? Maybe on day 1 you build a good cushion. Maybe at the end of the week you have a good cushion, or maybe you blow those accounts and you kind of realize, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't approach it with 1 mini, maybe the second group, right? I should approach it with 4 micros, like you were talking about, right? So I think it's all contingent. I'm just kind of spitballing here and coming up with ideas. But me personally, how I would do it if I was in with that with what you're explaining with, is I get that you're trying to be aggressive, and if so, you have 10 accounts. Maybe even try with 2, right? 2, that gives you 5 attempts, 5 blown accounts, quote unquote, and trade 1 mini. right? That could be a good approach for you. And once you have a cushion, move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. Thank you, but my guy, yeah. Hope you crush it, and keep me updated. Keep me updated on how you do. Since you like the heat, check out 230 Fifth Avenue rooftop bar. You'll get great view of the city. Oh shit, fire. I'm gonna screenshot that actually. And maybe you think they play the game today? I would have offered. Oh shit, you know what I'm gonna do, chat? Charge my phone. Charge my phone because I don't want to fucking. My phone was dead half the time yesterday. Trying to see if you guys saw my unmade bed. I turned it down, chat. I was thinking of making a skit like that, chat, like a big prop firm out in Jacksonville offer me you know what? I am gonna make that video. Offer me like 5 mil, 10 mil, 15 mil. I turned it down. Ought to pursue the eval game. All right, charge. This fucking plug doesn't work. You know what, chat? I'm gonna connect it to my laptop. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that skit, or if not today, later in the week. I do think that it's has a lot of potential. Let's see. You need to make one, but instead of a prop firm, it's your take profit. Yeah, something like that, Mitch. Okay, so we're getting a pullback here. Let's see, hourly close in the next 22 minutes. 30-minute. We do have a 30-minute gap entry here as well. 15-minute. So yeah, it's looking good. We'll see if we get the pullback that I want, right? We'll see if we get a deep enough pullback for me to participate. Sup, Rake Trades Network. Usually red day for me. Unusual red day. I was above gold, but got greedy. Nothing I can overcome. I have a 89% daily win rate, but you get red days. Being able to be good and refreshed with the next day took a lot of years. Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, brother. It's all part of the game. Red days are green streaks, red streaks are bound to happen, and it's just your job to just manage them, right? Control yourself and understand that trading is just a small part of your life, a small part of your day. Just don't let it consume you. If you can do that, you're golden. I trade too many times, really good in overtrading and losing. Work on control the controllables, right? If you can work on taking one trade a day for the next 20 days, you in my opinion, I think that's what could be a needle moving kind of activity for a lot of people. You call this a pullback now? Well, yeah, it's technically is pulling back, right? But the entry that I'd be comfortable with taking is once we essentially get to that 630, 640-ish level, right? That's kind of where I want to see us pull back to before trading higher. And ideally, we get there at once the hourly candle new hourly candle opens. That way, we get an entry right at the 12-hour mark, or 12 hours, right at the 12 p.m. hour mark. But if not, then no biggie. There's an indoor level below the rooftop. The penthouse lounge they have. Okay, fire. I'm gonna look into. I'll probably honestly call right after stream and see if they're streaming the game, and if so, I am gonna probably go there. Or maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't say that on stream. I'm not going there, chat. So what about so what's the funded futures beef about? What beef? I didn't know there was beef. Lomeli, you have an opinion on the Alpha Futures fiasco? None, no opinion. What I do know is Jake lost a lot of money. That's what I'll tell you. Yeah, other than that, I have no comment, I guess. It's just, I guess it sucks, right? Just goes to show the nature of like the overall game, right? Like, as much as a firm is trustworthy, I think that things like this, I guess, happen. There was a good name, Norm, who said, one good trade to make a day, one good day to make the week. I love the shit out of this guy, but 10 good trades for make your day scalper and 5. Alpha is shit, bro. Don't do it. Yeah, honestly, chat, if I'm being honest, I've been extremely detached from everything that I honestly don't even know what's happening. I have an idea, right, of what happened, but I haven't read shit about the exact logistics behind what's going on. Kenny Trans, my guy. What's up, brother? What's up, my guy? Nice. As we're getting a pullback here, let me take a quick leak, chat. Quick leak. 1 second. Let me pause this. 1 second. All right, back. What's up, brother? You have to be careful on prop firms building their own platforms. The whole problem is due to TraderVert and NinjaTrader thinking Alpha's platform is a competing platform. I see. You get any of those NQ longs? Just join the streams, had a meeting. Not yet, brother Ray. I'm waiting on a long currently as we speak. Looking like I might get an entry. So that should be coming here soon. You in New York now? Yes, currently in New York. Are there Dutch traders in the chat? I don't know. Yes, okay. We're getting a pullback here, chat. Let's see. Let me clean it up here. Remove that. Let's remove this. Clean up charts here, chat. So the hourly candle here closed in the next 15 minutes. 30 minutes. So we are in a 30-minute fair value gap. At this point, we have a 30-minute essentially change of state, 15-minute fair value gap, 15-minute breaker here in this area. We also have a 5-minute fair value gap here. So if price can give me an entry here, I would be looking to take it, right? 4 hour. We do have a 4 hour order block here. Technically. They're just marking up ES here, chat. We have a 1 minute big displacive candle here that we came back down to test. Okay, we just tested it. That was a big candle to the downside. All right, we just tested my area of interest here. We'll be looking for a long here soon. We're in a 30-minute fair value gap, 30-minute change in state, 15-minute fair value gap, 5-minute fair value gap, 15-minute breaker, 1 minute. Now literally waiting for a 1 minute change in state or invert, which is here. Something like that would be kind of what I'd be looking for. 5 minutes, especially if it happens in the next 2 minutes. This 5-minute bar closes very bullish. The hourly candle closes in the next 12 minutes, so that should be interesting. That was a 2 minute looking. That 15-minute bar just opened 3 minutes ago, so let's see. Five-minute. Okay, so the next 5-minute candle closes here in the next 30 seconds. 15-minute. Still 10 more minutes left on that 50-minute bar. Yeah, waiting, hunting for an entry here. Literally hunting for an entry here, chat. Targeting 754. We have this big invert here on the 1 minute. So this essentially is a 1 minute BPR here that we're currently in. 1 minute BPR. We'll see if we get a change in state. Hunting an entry here, chat. Hunting an entry. Ugh. What's chat talking about? Let's see. When are you thinking good entry point is? For me, I'm literally just waiting. I'm waiting for price to react. And if it does, then I'm looking for an entry. Currently, it seems like price wants to go lower to see if we do have a BPR down here. It's 15-minute gap. We're currently trading inside of, right? We're in that BPR. Ideally, I'd want us to hold that BPR. We tapped into that fair value gap here. Barely. Remove that. Let's remove this. Where's ES at currently? ES is still holding. Yes, tap that order block here on the 5-minute. Yeah, it looks like price wants to go lower here. This for me, if I'm still bullish bias, but I want to wait for a entry, right? That's kind of what I'm doing now, waiting for some sort of entry to then target the 754 into later end of the stream. Let me get my hoodie. Ugh. Fucking toasty in here, chat. Or sorry, cold. Yeah, you're right, cold. I should probably turn it down, actually. Hold on. Turn it up, chat, not down. Damn, I'm all over the place. So cool. This is actually pretty good. The hourly candle here closes in the next 5 minutes. We did leave behind a small little gap, perhaps. 15-minute. Yeah, waiting on an entry. If I get an entry here, that would be I'd be taking it. Basically for a 1-minute change in state and a 1-minute invert. But if we don't, and we come down and test that small little fair value gap here on the hourly, That would also be good as well. But ideally, I'd want this bar to close slightly more bullish at the point kind of at the entry. And then the next bar kind of give me this buy setup kind of trigger. We have 3 more minutes here. Tres minutos, chat. Tres minutos, chat. Dougie, my guy, what's up, brother? Lomeli turned it down. Oh, shit. Officially going to trade MNQ for every ES trade I take. Brother, that's the best thing I did. Yeah, it's just more volatile. You get paid. You literally get paid more. I guess it hasn't been the thing. Literally, the last 2 weeks has been the opposite, right? ES, at least for me, ES has been paying more as far as our multiple goes. But that's just because ES, NQ has been kind of, my trades have been more bullish, more to the upside. And with that, the momentum to the upside has been, like for example, if ES moves 3R, NQ would only give me like 1.2R, for example. But that's just because of the discrepancies we've been having between asset classes. Yeah, but it's it's 97. Yeah, it's fucking cold, or sorry, hot in New York City. But it's literally 60. It was 65 degrees in here. I'm fucking freezing. I think the fact that it's the AC is literally right up above me, and it's been hitting me for the last hour and a half now. But yeah, I'm literally taking it off as soon as I end stream to go out and fuck off. Okay, we got 1 more minute or 30 seconds or so until the hourly candle closes here. We didn't even get a gap entry. There's no gap that formed. Okay, hourly candle just opened. And we got that tap here on ES. Actually, I'll leave them. Where's ES relative to NQ here? ES has been... Oops. So ES tapped into the hourly gap entry. We're still technically in that breaker area that I would want to see a reaction from. We tapped into that last little fair value gap, or 5-minute small little BPR here, right? We'll see if that's the line in the sand. If not, again, the area of interest would be essentially this order block down here, as that is 15-minute. It's a 15-minute invert, right? It would be a basically LTE of the range. It would essentially have if we can wick and hold the 15-minute above equilibrium, which would be above the fair value gap here on ES, or sorry, on the 15-minute, that would be an entry. Let me see. Let me lock in here for a second. $15-minute. I'd be looking to take this here if we close. Targeting 754.50. So okay, I'm in. We'll see. We'll see if we play out. This will probably be my only trade for the session. And let's see if we play out. Looking to aim for a 2-hour trade here. What's up, Trader 007? Are you in, bro? Yes, I'm currently in a trade. This sucks that it fucking the P&L screen lags, so I have to keep going back and forth. I'll leave it here. But yeah, setting and forgetting this, and we'll see if it plays out. Let's see, what is chat talking about? Hopped on, looking good. Nicole, what's up? Where's my stop loss at the swing low? We just tapped into that 15-minute gap entry. Ideally, I don't want us to reject it. I want us to continue. Man, this coffee just got fucking cold. Okay, I want to see us come back into it and continue higher from here. I don't want us to spend too much time in this gray box here. I want that to be the level that pushes us higher if my bias is correct. Set an alert here at the high. In 15-minute BPR right now, patience, play, pump it up. I don't want to keep going back and forth, otherwise I would. Just because whenever I go out of my screens, it freezes everything. So I'm going back and forth between my trader vate and my screens here. We traded down into discount. I want to see us push from here. With speed and displacement. Speed. I want speed, chat. 5 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, literally a waiting game now, chat. Just locked in half past an eval. Fuck yeah. Wait, what, were you longs or shorts? What'd you take? Because I'm still essentially break even here. Yeah, so long we hold this little box here, we're looking good. Especially if we invert this 15-minute bearish. We are looking solid, but so far, just waiting. Chat, how's the Argentina game going so far? Who's winning? Zero, zero. Oh, no, you're good, you're good. Don't worry about it. No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Started bleeding. England cheating already? How is that? Need a standing desk in the room? Honestly, bro. Honestly. I don't know, it feels weird trading sitting down. Honestly. Feels weird. Oh, man. Now it's just a waiting game, chat. Waiting to see if I get stopped out or TP hits. But I do think that if we invert this 15-minute gap, we will hit... we have a good chance of hitting TP. Literally a waiting game, chat. A new 15-minute bar just opened here. Yeah, price is just consolidating here, which not good or bad, but what I'd want to see is just us respect it and go. Yeah, the white box is a 15-minute bearish gap. Thank you. Yeah, I got you, brother. Man. Man, I hate price action, bro. Let's see. So long we hold this invert, it's looking good. But if we, as soon as we give it up, not looking so well. Lomeli, my guy, how's the city treating you? It's been good, thank you. It's been good so far, amazing. It feels good to detach and I don't know, change the scenery, you know? I agree, brother. The fact that we're holding is good, but the fact that we're not moving is also not good, right? I want to see a clean displacement move to the upside, which we're not getting. Yet we're not moving lower. We're just hovering in that spot, which it's not. Yeah, I think partially is that, right? The fact that we're in the middle of summer and yeah, looking at how charts are, we're not really, or not how charts are, the higher time frames are on charts, we're not really going anywhere. So even if AM is rangy, PM is also not the best, which is frustrating for me. But that's trading. Oh, it's OPEX this week? Ah, I see. That could play a role as well. All right, take me out. I'm not yet taken out, but fucking take me out already. You got divergence, you got the lows, but let's see. Big band up in Jacksonville. What's up, Giovanito, my guy? What's up, brother? Giovanito, that's such a... Oh, man. Yeah, just take me out. Take me out. Stop fucking flirting with my stop and just get it or move higher. Yeah, it's looking, chat, it's looking like I'm getting taken out. Yeah, whatever happens here, if I get taken out or push higher, I'm gonna end stream here in the next 7 or so minutes, right at the 2-hour mark. So if this takes me out here, I'll probably end stream. But come on. Nah, don't take me, hold the line. Argentina, England still 0-0. If this, for whatever reason, plays out, it'll be the edge of the century. Which I doubt. There's a, yeah. I doubt this recovers. But hey, if it does, W stop loss placement. I think it all depends on how this 5-minute closes here. Do we close towards the open? If not, we'll more than likely take it out. The 5-minute bar closed. Come on, NQ, just get me out. Come on. If you want to take me out, take me out. All right, all out here, chat. All right, it's fucking frustrating, chat. No, not gonna lie. Maybe we can share us the link to the website. Yeah, that's it for me, chat. I'm done here for today. I'm gonna close my computers and go out and literally go get some food. GG's. Yeah. I apologize, but fucking my PM has not bid it for me the last couple of days. It's definitely frustrating, and yeah. Back tomorrow, live to fight another day, and that's it for me, chat. Yeah, sounds good, chat. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Mitch. Deuces, chat. Later. See you guys tomorrow, chat. Yeah, appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.